Okay. Hello and welcome to NabUttE's deck tech videos. This will be the first in a series. I will do like a lot of different decks. Today we're going to talk about a deck that's pretty popular nowadays, which is Shov's warrior list. He has been playing. He peaked at rank 3 legend last season, I think. And this deck tech is recorded on the second week of Nax release, so not all Nax cards are out yet. Please keep that in mind. I'm going to start with going through all of the card choices and why they're probably in here. So let's start with Execute. It's a core card in a Control Warrior list. You almost always play 2 Executes, because they're really good at removing the bigger threats in the late game. Basically it answers almost everything, and you normally use it in combo with like Slam or Whirlwind to or Taskmaster to damage the creature and then just instantly kill it. Second card, Shield Slam, is also a core card in Control Warriors. You almost always play 2. Don't think I've seen any decks that doesn't run 2 at the moment. It's normally used in combo with Shield Block and Armor Smith to increase your armor pretty fast. So yeah, just a core card. Here we have Whirlwind. It's also a core card, but lately some people have only been running 1 Whirlwind since of a new Nax card that I'm going to be discussing later. So since you don't need that many Whirlwind effects, 1 Whirlwind is fine. You could choose to play 2, and cut like a Slam or something for that, if you feel like you don't need all the Whirlwind effects. And then we have on the 2 slot Flurry Warax. It's a core warrior card. It's played both in aggro and control decks almost all the time. It's one of the most efficient weapons in the game. So this is basically to have board control early game, to deal with annoying cards from decks like Zoo. And then we have Slam. It's a card that deals with early creatures in Zoo and also works to make Execute easier to use. Normally you either do this to kill a minion against the aggressive decks, or in against the more controlly decks you either use it to cycle, aka use it to draw another card, to maybe draw one of your better late game threats, or to activate Execute. It's not really it's not a core card. Some people don't play Slam. It's a bit up to preference. You could cut down to 1 Slam and maybe run some more late game cards if you feel like you have enough early game stuff. Next up we have Armor Smith. It's a core card that's almost always ran 1 or 2 in Control Warrior. This is really good at dealing with early game minions that are annoying, that have 1 toughness, like Leper Gnome and stuff like that. And he also keeps you healthy, so you don't die in the early game, and makes your Shield Slams easier to use. It's also to note that it's a good combo with Whirlwind and Unstable Ghoul to gain up your armor fast. Next card is Cruel Taskmaster. It's also a core card. It's almost always 2 copies of, as we have in this deck. It's used to either proc Execute, kill 1 toughness minions, or make it so your Gromage gets enraged. Next up we have a new Nax card, which is Unstable Ghoul. It has been a core card. Most Control Warrior plays this nowadays. It newly came out, so we are not that sure about it, but probably. I think this is really good. It makes your early game against both Zoo and the other aggressive decks a lot better. It can also be used to proc your Armor Smith and Acolyte of Pain. So yeah, we're running 2 of this, and this is the reason we only have 1 Whirlwind in the deck, because this is basically a Whirlwind on a creature. Next up we have Shield Block, which is a core card in Control Warrior. You always play 2. This card is basically good because of Shield Slam, and also to make you not die in early and mid game to either aggression or combos, burstier combos. And and this is, as I said, a combo with Shield Slam. You can at 4 mana use Shield Block and Shield Slam to kill a 5 toughness creature, or at 6 mana you could use Shield Block, Hero Power and Shield Slam to kill a 7 toughness creature. It's a really useful card. Next up we have Acolyte of Pain. It's also a core card in Control Warrior. You almost always run to, if it's not too slow. It combos really well with Taskmaster, Unstable Ghoul and Whirlwind to make you draw cards to get your more late game stuff, and also to trade in early game. Next up we have Gnomish Inventor. It's only here because it's a 4-drop and we need more cards that draws cards so we can survive the early game and draw into our more late game threats later. It's really good because you draw your card immediately. Next up we have Brawl. This is our mass removal spell, the only one that can actually kill bigger stuff. This is really a necessary card to run in your deck, because otherwise you're just going to get overrun by the more aggressive decks, and it also works very well against Handlock and other deck. It's basically to restore a board that you're already losing. So you almost always run one of these. Next up we have Faceless Manipulator, which is a flex slot card, which means that you could replace this for another late game card. The best card to replace this for would be Ysera at the moment, I guess. If you prefer to have more of a sure late game. This is also this is here because we needed more late game in the deck. So this is a bit more flexy. This is Faceless is better because you can it can be useful against aggressive decks. Like against 2 you could copy a Doomguard or something like that. Next up we have Loatheb. That also came out not too long ago in the second wing of Nax. It's a really strong card. Almost all decks that's not really aggressive run this card. It's good because you can play it, and it's really annoying for your opponent to destroy it, to kill this the turn you play it. So it almost always sticks for a turn. Also it can be used to delay your opponent's combos like Force of Nature, Savageor and stuff like that. So this is like a core card in almost every deck at the moment. Next up we have another new card called Sludge Belcher. It's one of the best taunters in the game at the moment. Definitely the best 5 mana neutral taunter. It's really annoying to remove since it spawns a second slime with taunt right after it when they kill it, and it's really not worth to silence it to go around the effect most of the time. This makes the deck a bit harder to kill in early and mid game, and it's really a needed card that makes Control Warrior a lot more consistent. Next up we have Cairn Bloodhoof, which is only here because it's a really good value minion. It's basically 2 Yetis on top of each other. Really annoying for most players to deal with, especially for priests. They have a really hard time to deal with this. Next up we have Sylvanas Windrunner, which is also a card that's you normally play on boards, and makes your opponent's life really awkward, because they want to kill this but they don't want you to steal anything good. This can also be used in combination with Shield Slam to kill if you have 5 mana. I mean 5 armor and 7 mana, you could play this and Shield Slam it and immediately steal one of your opponent's creatures. It's really good for example against Concealed Auctioneers, if you have the luxury of having the armor and steal it. It's really good, and I think you could probably replace this for a Black Knight if it's better in the meta. Like if it's more taunt cards in the meta, I think I would prefer to run a Black Knight. But as of now, I think Sylvanas is a better choice. Next up we have Gorehowl, another core card that's almost always ran one off in Control Warrior. It's basically a big value weapon that normally can kill about 3 to 4 minions. It's a really good overall card. It's a bit too slow against some of the more aggressive decks, but this is basically against the mid-range decks and other control decks. Note that it can also be used in combo with Grommash Hellscream to kill your opponent out of nowhere. If you have a full Gore Howl and can enrich Grommash Hellscream, you can do 19 damage in one round, which is really useful. Okay, now we are going to our finishers, which is Grommash Hellscream, a core card in Control Warrior. You always play this in Control Warrior. This is normally used in combination with Cruel Taskmaster. You almost never want to play this card unless you're killing your opponent with it, or if you really need to for board control. It's fine to play this against Zoo and other aggressive decks for 8 mana just to kill a creature, but in the control and mid-range matchups you normally want to finish with this card in combination with Cruel Taskmaster. So it's really important to remember to save at least one Cruel Taskmaster in your deck for this card. Next up we have another of our late game threats. It's Ragnaros the Fire Lord. I really like this card. It's a bit random, but it's the power level on this guy is so high that you play it anyway. So yeah, this is just to close out games. Okay, so I'm going to play about two or three games on the ladder. At the moment I am at rank 6, which is because it was ladder reset 4 days ago. So yeah, now let's bring this deck to the ladder and see what we play against, and I'll do some commentary.
Garrosh versus Garrosh. Victory or death! I will crush you!
Okay, so we're playing against another Control Warrior most likely. So we don't have any cards we're looking for in the early game in this hand. We're looking for more early game cards like Flurry War Axe, Armor Smith, Cruel Taskmaster, and Flurry War Axe, and Acolyte of Pain. It's basically the cards we want in our opening hand. This is a decent starting hand. I would prefer to have a Flurry War Axe. It's a really important card in the mirror match to kill opposing Armor Smiths and Acolyte of Pain. Okay, so we drew a War Axe. That's really good. We're not going to spend our coin yet. We don't really have a creature we want to have out this early. This draw is kind of bad. We're not we could do Unstable Ghoul to set up for our Acolyte of Pain next turn. I think it's worth. This is only bad if he has a War Axe of his own. The goal in this match is to trade favorably. So this matchup usually go to either to big damage or one of the guys gets a lot more card advantage than the other one. Okay, so we could play Acolyte of Pain here, but I'm not going to since he has a War Axe in play. So we're just going to armor up to make our Shield Slam do something. Okay, so he's just passing and armoring up. That's what we wanted to see. Okay, so this turn we're going to coin out a Sludge Belcher to get something on the board and pressure him into doing something. The only bad thing about playing this right now is that he has free armor, so he could armor up and Shield Slam to get rid of the main part of this card. Okay, so he's using a Shield Slam. He's probably attacking into the option as well to kill it. Okay, so he played a Unstable Ghoul. This is really good for us, since we can play Acolyte of Pain, and then play an Axe to attack him, to proc his Whirlwind effect through our card. Okay, Brawl is normally a bad card in this matchup. Usually it's really hard to get a situation where it actually does anything. So he's wasting an Execute here. I don't think that's a good plan, since you're going to need those in the late game, because often this, as I said before, often this game goes to fatigue.
Pass me that Arc Light Spanner.
Okay, let's just continue to cycle our cards and raise our armor.